Sure.
To Atlanta.
So what brought me to Atlanta, Georgia, where we're currently headquartered, is we had 2 locations in Florida, and in our second location, which was on the south side of Jacksonville, which is a really nice side of town, we had a lot of customers who came in and said repeatedly, you guys need to think about Atlanta. You guys really need to think about Atlanta. And so I eventually paid attention and took some time off to come up and kind of scour some locations in Atlanta. Found a location on Peachtree Street, and I'm like, if you're gonna be in Atlanta, it's important to be on Peachtree Street, because wherever you are in the world, if you say Peachtree Street, Peachtree Road, Peachtree, and it's Peachtree Road, not street, I'm sorry. There's so many peach trees in Atlanta, but if you say Peachtree, you know that you're talking about Atlanta, Georgia. And so that's why I chose that location on Peachtree, which was back in 2009. And after moving to Atlanta, we opened, our business just exploded. And honestly, we did well in Jacksonville, but the move to Atlanta is what really turned things around. I won't say turn around, that's not the right words. Those aren't the right words to use. It's what really took our business to another level. And I say that because of the network of people here, the people that you meet, the sisterhood that you get here that you don't necessarily get in Jacksonville. And it's there, it's just on a different level. I think that people understand the struggle of being a Black entrepreneur in this city, and it's very common too with so many of us. And so for them to see this young Black woman and opening up a business on Peachtree Street, the support that came our way, and people who work in large industries like the CNNs and Delta Airlines, they saw us and they loved us and they wanted to do business with us, which is how we just continue to grow and grow and grow and grow. So that's what Atlanta has done for us, being in the city. Yeah.
And now that you're in Atlanta, would you tell us your locations in Atlanta?
So this is pre-COVID. So we had pre-COVID locations,
okay.
And now that we're in the midst of the pandemic, currently we are in Lenox Square Mall, which is, I think everyone who knows Atlanta, when you say Lenox, you know again that is a landmark in Atlanta. We are in our Smyrna location. It is Smyrna Vinings area off of South Atlanta Road, Camp Creek Marketplace, and then our location is still in Jacksonville, Florida. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I think about when I took my first bite,
Yeah.
and I looked at my brother and said, "It's official. This is really official."
Good, good, good.
What did you come up with the skills?
Well, my mama really. So I learned how to bake from her. Following her around in the kitchen is how I learned how to bake. And just, she would bake cakes for people for special occasions like holidays, Easter, Christmas, so on and so forth. But I just wanted to do more with it. And so I, back then, would do wedding cakes and then more birthday cakes and stuff for people. But when I started the business part of things, I knew that I had to do something that was manageable, meaning that I knew it was only going to be me starting out. And really, did I hit the mic? I'm sorry. Meaning that when I started out, it was just me. And my husband at the time was still working a full-time job. And so during the day, I would have to be babysitter. Literally, I promise you, Camille was in the back in a crib, and I had to bake the product, wash the dishes, be customer service, and it was only for a short while. But that was the thought process coming out the gate, that if this was not successful, I at least needed to make enough money to continue the cycle. So at the time, I was afraid to bring on employees out the gate. I couldn't do it. Honestly, I couldn't do it because this is the first day that we opened the store. At the end of buying supplies and getting everything ready, getting the store built out and everything set up, all we had left in the bank was $500. So if we didn't make it, then I had $500 to maybe buy enough for the next day, which is what we did. But luckily, after being open for a few hours, we sold out of everything. And then And then that's how it started, and then we just flipped it and kept flipping it and flipping it. And so that's how we became to be.
Now you talk about you opened and you closed a couple locations.
Yes.
Through this pandemic.
Yes.
And the things that's been going on, and
Yes.
it's been shutting down a lot of business.
Oh, yes.
You're
Oh, yes.
able to survive.
Yes.
How are you able to do that at this time?
Right. So we're able to survive this pandemic, number one, because we paid attention to what was important. And honestly, what's important at a time like this, when the world does not know how we're going to make it through it, what's important is people. That's what's important. So we closed down everything with the exception of this location that we're sitting in, which is in Smyrna, Georgia. We closed down everything because, number one, we didn't know what the future holds. Number two, the main priority was to make sure that people were safe and to take care of each other and to focus on what was important. So for one moment, you forget about the money. You just don't worry about it. And even, I believe, in order to be successful, there has to be a time when money is not your focus. You have to, and I say there has to be a time when it's not your focus, because you have to focus on what it is that people love about you, and then the money will come. So whatever it is, like whatever it is, I made up in my mind that if it means that we're gonna not look as successful to some people and only focus on this one location with just a few people operating it, and let those people continue, we continue to serve them through deliveries or what have you, then that's what it would be. If that meant that we would become bankrupt during this time, I mean, that's just, we could always rebuild, but we had to forget about the money for a moment and focus on health, people, and closing those locations that we did close. We were at the end of leases in our two main locations in Atlanta. We didn't know what the future held, so we decided to not renew those leases, close them down. And my thought process was, after all of this is over, if there's an opportunity to step back into it, then we can do it. But right now, it wasn't a wise decision. And just to answer your question properly, I believe that's the best decision we could have made, because what it did was it allowed us to scale back, focus on what was important, product, the people, and then take it from there.